Underweight seal pups found struggling along coast as experts warn of shifting ocean conditions. Along stretches of coastline that are normally calm during this season, wildlife rescuers have found themselves overwhelmed by an unexpected surge of underweight, exhausted, and stranded seal pups. What began as a handful of routine rescue calls has now escalated into one of the largest coastal marine mammal welfare responses in recent years, prompting urgent research into whether environmental changes, food scarcity, or climate-driven disruptions are behind the worrying trend. Over the past several weeks, dozens of pups, many only a few weeks old, have been discovered lying motionless on beaches, tangled in seaweed beds, or struggling to crawl back into the surf. Some were severely malnourished, with ribs visible beneath thin layers of fur. Others were dehydrated, injured, or too weak to move. In several cases, tourists reported pups crying out for their mothers or attempting to nurse on empty sand. Seal rehabilitation centers across the region are now filling to capacity, some already exceeding it. Marine experts say they have not seen this many starving pups wash ashore in more than a decade. A surge that caught everyone off guard. The numbers are abnormal. In a normal season, we prepare for around 20 to 25 rescues. This month alone we've taken in more than twice that, said Dr. Melissa Harding, head marine biologist at the Coastal Marine Rescue Network, CMRN. These pups simply don't have enough fat reserves to survive on their own. Something is clearly wrong in their environment. Harding noted that the pups being found are significantly lighter than healthy newborns. Many weigh less than half the expected range and show signs of prolonged separation from their mothers. Local wildlife hotlines have been ringing non-stop. Beachgoers, dog walkers, and fishermen are increasingly reporting lone pups lying in unusual places, near rocky inlets, harbors, and even seaside parking lots. It's heartbreaking, Harding added. Some of them are so weak they don't even react when people approach. Possible culprit: a shift in ocean productivity. While investigations are still underway, biologists believe the surge of underweight pups is likely tied to a change in the availability of prey. Seals rely heavily on small schooling fish such as anchovies, sardines, and juvenile herring. But recent surveys suggest these fish populations may have shifted farther offshore or deeper into colder water layers, moves often triggered by sudden temperature changes or disruptions to upwelling patterns. If the mothers are having to travel farther to find food, they spend more time away from their pups, explained Drive. Naomi Reed, a marine ecologist studying the region's seal colonies. A pup alone for too long becomes vulnerable to cold, dehydration, and hunger. They can only survive for a short time without nursing. Reed also pointed to unusual water temperature readings collected over the last year. Several monitoring buoys recorded spikes and dips outside seasonal norms, patterns consistent with broader climate change-driven variability. A rise in big storm activity earlier in the season may also have played a role, sweeping young pups away from breeding beaches or disrupting nursing cycles. These animals are extremely sensitive to environmental change, and the ocean is telling us something, Reed said. Frontline rescuers facing heavier loads. At the Southern Shores Rescue Center, every available space has been turned into a temporary recovery bay. Plastic tubs, warm water pools, blankets, and feeding tubes are arranged in rows. Volunteers work in shifts around the clock, cleaning pups, hydrating them, and offering tube-fed formula. We've had to bring in portable incubator units to handle the overflow, said Emma Collins, the center's operations manager. Usually we're prepared for busy periods, but this is on a different scale entirely. Many pups require intensive care, warmed IV fluids, antibiotics for infections, and specialized high-fat milk formulas to rebuild body mass. Rehabilitation can take weeks or even months before the pups are strong enough to hunt for themselves and be released back into the wild. We're doing everything we can, Collins added. But seeing so many of them in distress is tough on the whole team. Tourists and locals are asked to keep the distance. Authorities are urging the public not to approach stranded pups. Well-meaning visitors sometimes try to feed them or push them back into the water, actions that can worsen the animal's condition. When people get too close, mothers are less likely to return, said coastal ranger Andrew Wayland. And forcing a weak pup back into the sea can be fatal. They may immediately drown. Instead, officials advise maintaining at least 30 meters of distance, keeping dogs leashed, and calling the local wildlife hotline if a pup appears injured, thin, or lethargic. A pattern seen in other regions. This isn't the first time marine animals have shown signs of stress linked to environmental shifts. In previous years, unusual mortality events, ranging from sea lions in California to penguins in South Africa, have been tied to warming waters and reduced fish stocks. Marine experts warn that seals are sentinel species. When they suffer, it often signals larger problems brewing in the marine ecosystem. If seal pups can't get enough food, it means the food chain itself is weakening, Reed said. This has implications not just for wildlife, but for fisheries and coastal communities as well. A race against time. For now, the priority is to stabilize as many pups as possible. Rescue teams say the next few weeks will be critical, especially if new storms hit or if fish populations remain low. Several rehabilitation facilities have launched emergency fundraising campaigns to pay for medical supplies, formula, and staff overtime. Some have even partnered with local aquariums for temporary housing. Every pup saved helps stabilize the breeding population, Harding emphasized. We owe it to them to understand what's happening and to act. Technology and tracking to provide answers. To gather clearer data, researchers have begun tagging rehabilitated pups with small trackers that will monitor their movements, dive patterns, and survival once released. These devices give us insight into whether the pups are successfully learning to forage, said Dr. Julian Moreau, who leads the tagging initiative. If many struggle to find food, it will confirm the larger ecosystem imbalance. Satellite readings, drone surveys of fish schools, and acoustic monitoring equipment have also been deployed along the coast to pinpoint where prey populations may have gone. We're trying to map the whole picture, Moreau said. We need to understand whether this is a temporary anomaly or the beginning of a longer-term shift. Local communities step in. The surge has sparked a wave of community involvement. School groups have organized beach cleanups to reduce hazards for weakened pups. Restaurants and market vendors have donated ice, containers, and even refrigeration space for storing medical supplies. Retirees and university students have signed up as volunteers for night shift monitoring. It's inspiring to see how people rally around these animals, Collins said. Their empathy is helping us hold everything together. Still, she emphasized that long-term solutions require understanding and addressing the environmental causes behind the crisis. We can rescue pups one by one, but we can't bottle feed our way out of a collapsing food system, she said bluntly. What comes next? As experts work to determine the exact cause of the mass strandings, they stress that this season serves as a warning. The ocean is changing faster than many species can adapt. These pups are the first to show visible signs, but they won't be the last, Reed warned. We need to pay attention. For now, rescue teams continue their relentless efforts, lifting weak pups from the sand, warming their chilled bodies, and giving them a second chance at life. Every recovery matters, Collins said. Every pup that opens its eyes, gains weight, and swims back into the wild reminds us why this work is worth it. But with more storms forecast and fish surveys still incomplete, the community knows that challenges lie ahead. This is a turning point, Harding concluded. What we do now, how we study, protect, and adapt, will determine the future health of our marine environment. And these pups are counting on us.